All right, so hey everybody, it's me, Alan Warren. So what do you do if you bought a lemon RV or you think your RV, your new RV might be a lemon? What do you do if your RV dealer, your new RV dealer won't stand behind the warranty? Do you know what the fine print says in that warranty? Well, we're going to find the answers to all that and an awful lot more with an RV lawyer that's a specialist in the lemon law right now.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
So we're off with hour number 2, and we're going to kind of tippy-toe in an area that, well, it's an area we have never covered before on the show, and that's about quality issues on new RVs and maybe the fine print. You know, the fine print that may be buried in some of your paperwork or the warranty paperwork that you just kind of assume is one way and you glance over it, but honestly, most folks actually never really read it. You know, it's kind of like reading one of those things. You download an app and you got to read something 17 pages long. You just say accept. But shortly after you buy a brand new RV, you may find out that you probably should have done a better job of reading all that fine print of what you signed. But now it is too late, or you may discover some awful problems with a brand new RV and your dream becomes a nightmare. Well, this hour on the RV Show USA, we've got a guest who knows all too well the fine print and some quality issues, and what he knows could save you a bundle, folks. Let's bring up Mr. Rick Dalton, an attorney from the great state of Louisiana. Hiya, Rick. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, you betcha. So tell us a little bit about Rick Dalton, about your background in terms of RVs and knowing the law.
Okay, well, I've been doing this for roughly 25 years. I've been practicing in Louisiana since October 1994, a long time ago. I then decided to get into Texas, and so I was admitted to practice law in 2001 in Texas. And just a whim, I went and took the California bar in 2010. So I'm licensed in 3 states, Louisiana, Texas, and California. And because one of the issues we're going to be discussing today, dealing with the RVs issues, I had to go get licensed up in Indiana in the federal courts in order to represent my clients in the RV industry, because as we will discuss later on today, a lot of those cases are now being mandatorily having to be litigated up in Indiana.
How did you begin working with RV owners? How did that happen? And tell us about your expertise and knowledge, because I know you are neck deep in this stuff.
Well, I'm an RV owner. I've owned RVs. I think on my third RV owner itself. I've never had a Class C or a motorhome. I've had fifth wheels, and I have a camper now. So I enjoy RVs just as much as anybody else. We use them to go to LSU and so forth. But I started off as a lemon law attorney pretty much about 5 years after I started practicing law. And we use that word, or the word lemon law, loosely. Most states do not have a lemon law per se for campers, fifth wheels. Some states do have them for the motorhomes, but only dealing with the chassis. But just in general terms, when we talk about lemon law, we are referring to basically what we call breach of warranties. But, so I got into lemon law, and it branched into RVs, because there's not a lot of attorneys out there that do it. And I just started doing it. I became successful at it, and now I do them all over the country. And so, being able to handle the cases in Indiana has exploded my practice basically now, because of what we're going to be discussing is that most clients or customers are going to find that in the future, if you have a lemon RV, you may end up having to litigate in Indiana.
Well, a lot of people, I think, they buy a dream, a fantasy. It's a dream that when they buy their RV, they look so nice and pretty, and some of them just once you roll off the lot, they turn into a big problem instead of a big dream, more of a nightmare than a dream.
Yes, an RV is probably the second biggest purchase somebody will make besides a home. And in some cases, it is the person's home. Some people will sell their house. I've represented lots of people who have sold their homes and wanted to retire and RV across the country. And so the most expensive RV client I represented was $500,000 on
Wow.
a Class C, very expensive.
All right, so what's the difference between an RV and a mobile home? I think a mobile home, some people think, well, gosh, they're the same, or a trailer house, but they're not. Don't trailer houses have to have some kind of HUD standards, but RVs don't?
That is absolutely correct. The mobile homes are manufactured under the HUD code or by the by those standards. The RV industry is not. Mobile home manufactured homes is what we really call them today. I still refer to them as mobile homes, but that's the industry doesn't refer to them as mobile homes anymore. It's manufactured housing. But manufactured housings are mobile only up to the point that they get moved to the location, and then normally the wheels are taken off and they become immobile. Now, they are still off the ground. Some people put skirting around them to hide that and so forth, but at that point in time, they no longer become immobile. And in fact, some customers will file paperwork in their court to immobilize them so it becomes part of the land. So when you sell the land, the mobile, quote, manufactured home now becomes part of the sale, and they're one and the same.
How have things changed over the years in terms of what you see as a lawyer looking at RV dealers and manufacturers and the number of people that may be having problems? Did it kind of stay the same, increasing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in limit law in general, in that practice, as cars, RVs, anything gets more complicated, then the more problems you're going to have. And so as more items and more features are put into an RV, we've got, high-end TVs, AC units, generators. The more stuff you put into an RV, the more problems you're going to have. You can have more problems going on with them because you've got more items in it. And then you get with the computers and the technology involved in those components that are put into the units. And there's steep learning curves on all that. And so if the dealers, which is your first line of defense in resolving any type of warranty problem, is not trained or do not understand the new technology and the new problems, then, it's going to create a limit because the dealer is just not trained. It just does not understand the new technology. So you may have multiple times in the shop to create the problem to fix the problem, or multiple days out of service while they're trying to learn how to fix the problem.
Okay, who is describe the typical client that comes to you, Rick Dalton? Who is he or she? What kind of problems do you see?
Well, first of all, let's talk about what a defect is. If we're and not every problem you have in an RV or in these types of cases is a defect. So the definition, and this is a general definition of a defect, is something that substantially impairs the use, value, or safety of the vehicle. So you have to look at that. So the example that I always give to a client when they come in is that, if let's say there's a noise, and when you buy something new, you expect it to be perfect. We're human. We expect that. You pay good money for something, you don't expect anything to be wrong with it. But let's just say that there is an annoying rattle in the vehicle or the RV. It drives you nuts, and you can't find it. You bring it in, and you bring it in, and you bring it in, and they just cannot seem to find it. And it could be a molding or something, or a screw or something that's not tightened. That in itself will never rise to a level of a defect to meet a definition of a defect. A noise is not going to do it. So it's got to be something substantial. So we're looking for water leaks. We're looking for, generators. We're looking for shore power and plugging it in, and there's no power. You want it, and I don't want to say major defects. I just want to say it has to be something substantial. Another good definition is, does the problem or what you're complaining about, the complaint, is it something that renders the useless or inconvenient? And that's a good definition. It's a good gauge. Like, so what am I complaining about? So a water leak. Well, that's going to prevent you from using it because you can't take it out in the rain. So that's a use. In some states, an AC problem would be considered a use issue because you cannot camp while you don't have AC. But up in the northern states, maybe not so bad. So it may be more of an inconvenience.
But I hear
that's another.
I hear horror stories. Sorry to jump in, from people that have these inconvenient problems, assuming that their brand new RV is supposed to work. Like anybody would assume that, and then they can't get it fixed in time. It just takes forever to get it fixed. That to me sounds like I don't know if it's poor service. I don't know if it's intentional. It's just very inconvenient. Meanwhile, your payments are going on, your insurance, your storage, and you can't use the dang thing.
Correct. And so, like I said, the dealer is the first line of defense. So when you start off having a problem and you bring the vehicle in, if the dealer, and most RVs, you start off with a 1-year warranty. So you buy it, and so within the first week you have a problem, you bring it back in.
Hey, Rick, hang on. We got to hit a hard break. I don't want to get into warranties yet. We'll pick that up on the other side. Folks, we got RV lawyer Rick Dalton on the line with us. Got a question for him? 855-296-7469.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
And we are back with our guest. He's an attorney from Louisiana who is an expert in dealing with RV dealers and manufacturers, actually representing folks who are, well, they're not very happy, I guess, with the situation they find themselves in with their new RVs. Now, I want to repeat that I am not lumping every RV dealer and manufacturer into this group, because there are some excellent dealers out there, but there are also some that are, well, they're not a very good representation of the RV industry. Rick, for those who may have just tuned in and may be looking at buying a new RV, what kind of advice do you have for them?
It starts with the dealer. So research your dealer. Go online and look for reviews of the particular dealer you're going to deal with, because when you have a problem with an RV, you want to make sure that dealership is capable of handling the problem. They have the resources, they have the bays to handle the problem, because you're not automatically going to get straight to the manufacturer to get your repairs performed. So number one, look at the dealer, look at reviews, make sure they're reputable. And if you don't have a good feeling about the dealer, don't take that chance. Just don't. And the main thing is when you sit down to close on the deal, you really need to stop, take a breath, and read what you're signing. And that is so important. Because under the law, if you blindly sign a document and you didn't read it, you're bound to it. And that is key. So for me, I read everything I sign. And we'll go over that later on in the session.
Well, tell us about that. What are some things that I might find? Not everybody, not every dealer or manufacturer has this wording, but what are some of the things that may be buried that people don't even realize they're signing? Can you give us an example?
Arbitration agreements is number one. So number one is arbitration agreements. So you're going to see arbitration agreements by the dealer in the financing agreement, and now they're in the warranty. They're actually showing up in the warranties. So you need to look out for arbitration agreements.
And what does that mean? If I have a problem, walk me through. What does that mean to me if I?
So what the businesses want the consumers to believe is that by signing an arbitration agreement, you're expediting, and it's more a cost-efficient process to handle case lawsuits or claims. And arbitration would be a claim. And so instead of being able to file suit and being in front of a judge or jury of your peers, you're agreeing to go to an arbitrator, and an arbitrator is going to listen to your case and your claim, and that person is going to decide this. And the problem is, if you do not like the ruling that the arbitrator makes, there is no appeal. It's over. And so you lose your right to appeal. You lose your right to a jury to hear your case on it. And the biggest myth is that it's inexpensive. That's not true. Their arbitrations are extremely expensive. I've seen arbitrators charge $20,000 to hear a particular case.
Oh.
And I'm seeing in some arbitration agreements now where the manufacturers want 3 arbitrators. That means, if you go to trial, you have one judge. They want 3 arbitrators sitting up there. So these 3 arbitrators need to be paid. So you can imagine what the cost for that will be.
Where is the arbitration? Can it be in, if I live in San Antonio, for example, if I buy the RV here, can it be in San Antonio? Do I have to go to some other venue?
Yes. So as of right now, I'm handling a case, and I'm finding in the Heartland warranty that their arbitration agreement says you have to go to Indiana. to on it. So if you buy a Heartland product and this is in their warranty, then you're going to have to go litigate your case in Indiana. So the arbitration agreement is, the document you sign. It's a contract, and you're bound to it. So whatever the terms of the arbitration is, that's what you're going to be bound to. So if they say go to Indiana, you're going to go to Indiana.
Is it negotiable? If you, I see buying an RV. It's fun. It's exciting. You get wrapped up in the beauty and the glitter, and sometimes it's easy to overlook. Slowing down, like you said, take a deep breath, take your time, and review the documents. What if you say, you know what, I can live with everything except that? Do dealers or manufacturers allow you to cross out things out of an agreement, or is that a deal killer?
Well, I mean, they may tell you it's a deal killer, and, if it's too good to be true, it may be. But no, I mean, again, what I tell customers or my clients when they leave is that, look, when you have the money, the dealer and the manufacturer want your money. So the person who has the money at that moment in time is in control. So until you sign the sales documents, until they have your money, you are in complete control. And so, number one, everything is negotiated. Don't feel threatened by that. So what I do is when I'm walking through a sales document, if I see an arbitration agreement, I scratch through it and I write in big letters, do not agree, and keep going. And then if the finance manager stops and say, whoa, what are you doing? I'm saying, I don't agree to that. Well, then, you have to have that, or we don't have a deal. Then we don't have a deal, and I'm going to leave. And I've never, ever in any case, and for me personally buying a vehicle, where they refused not to take the arbitration agreements out, ever.
So when Rick Dalton is buying an RV and you go through the paperwork, what kinds of things besides the arbitration agreement do you say do not agree, and do you cross out? I'm just curious.
Right. Number one is the arbitration agreement. You never agree to an arbitration agreement. Just take it out, and they will. I mean, that's a no-brainer. They'll take that out. Number two is the venue selection clauses. So this is now showing up in the warranties, which means you're going to need to ask the salespeople or the finance manager when you're going through the paperwork. This refers to a warranty. Where is the warranty? I need to see it. And do not sign anything until they hand you the warranty. So then they'll hand you the manufacturer's warranty. You need to read through it. And look, there's no problem asking questions. Ask questions. Say, before I read this, is there an arbitration agreement in this warranty that I need to be aware of? A lot of times these people don't even know because they've never even read the warranty themselves. But if they say, I don't know, then stop, read it. If you see that, scratch it out. If you see a venue selection clause saying that you're going to have to go to Indiana, scratch it out. And again, that's all negotiable. If they say we can't sell you this unit unless you agree to the terms of the warranty, say I don't agree to them. They're either going to sell you the RV or they're not. And if they're not, you're saving yourself headache and heartache down the road. Get up and walk out. You don't need that unit. There's plenty of other units out there that do not have these terms in there. You're in control.
Is the language that's in these purchase agreements where the average person can understand them, or are there a lot of just legalese and things that our eyes glaze over at?
It's legalese. They're made to be that. It's very small print. They're hidden. I mean, you have to look for them. You have to know which. You have to stop and read and look for it. Now, arbitration agreements are a little bit different. You have to separately sign for an arbitration agreement. So a lot of times the dealer's arbitration agreement will be on a completely separate document, and most of the times they'll just tear that up and say, I'm not signing that, and they'll move that on. The bank's arbitration agreement and the manufacturer's arbitration agreement are usually in small print in those documents that have 1,000, 2,000 words in them. So you have to look for them to find them on that. Now, let me real quickly say, as to the bank, okay, if you need financing or whatever, the bank's arbitration agreement, you need to think about that. I mean, if you need the financing, banking is hard to get, so you may want to okay that with the finance company. But as to the manufacturer and the dealer, absolutely no, never agree to that, ever.
Such great information. And what I'm hearing is be willing to walk away and take your time.
Exactly. There's no reason why you can't say, look, why is everybody in a rush? Like, if the unit's not going anywhere. If they want to sell it to you, take the paperwork home. Say, let me have this. I'm going to go home, and we're going to look at it, look over it overnight, and we'll come back tomorrow and sign the deal.
All right, listen, we're in a rush to jump to a break. We'll be right back. I'm going to want to know, how do I know when to call Rick Dalton, and why are some dealers not allowing the RVs to be inspected by the buyer. All right, be right back.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
All right, it's Alan Warren. This is the RV Show USA. If you're an angry RVer, if you'd like to jump on the show, visit with Rick Dalton, our friend and RV lawyer from Louisiana. About your situation, the number's 855-296-7469. Now, Rick, before we grab a couple of callers here, I want to ask you a question and tell you a situation. I have heard many people buying a brand new RV, and just to make sure they're not buying a problem, they want to have an inspector come out, one of these certified RV inspectors, and the dealer says, no way. They don't want an inspector coming on the lot. Isn't that just a telltale sign right there to walk?
Of course. I mean, that's just common sense. I mean, if there's nothing wrong with the unit, you should be able to have it inspected, have an outside person come in and inspect it. The fact that they're refusing that would be raised flags all day long. I mean, warning bells would be going off in my head.
How do you feel about people getting inspections? I mean, I know it's spending some money, but gosh, some of these RVs are, like you said, some of them are $500,000.
Best $100 or $500 you'd spend. I mean, it's the same thing as getting a Carfax on it. I mean, why somebody would buy a used car or car today without getting a Carfax, I don't know. I mean, it's money well spent.
All right, we've got a couple of callers on hold. Do you mind if we jump over and you visit with them for a second? All right, Jonette, you're on with Rick Dalton. Jonette.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick. I'm Jonette. How you doing?
So what you got?
Okay, we bought a camper. It's not even a year old yet. We've been having so many problems with this thing, I'm aggravated with it. I'm ready to, I don't know what I want to do with it. I keep calling them. They give me the runaround. I'm just aggravated with it. It's leaking. It's got mold. My door that you come in, it never stays shut. The lining on underneath the camper, it's falling. We had a tied rope on it to make it stay up. It's a 2017. We just got it. And I'm just so aggravated with this thing. Every time we call them, they give me the runaround.
What do you think, Rick?
How many times have you brought it to the dealer? I mean, how many times has it been in the shop?
We haven't put it in the shop. This would be our first time bringing it.
You got to bring it in. Yeah, right. So, the way the law works is that, and you fall into that trap, and so you have a 1-year warranty. So, depending on what state you bought it in, this is just pretty much for every state, is that in order for you to have a claim or in order for your vehicle to be classified as a limit, you have to give them an opportunity to repair. So that's what the warranty is for. I mean, that's the purpose of the warranty. So if you don't inform them of the defects, if you don't allow them a chance to repair, and you get outside that 1 year, then you're not going to have a case.
Oh,
you're not going to be able to get any remedy. You have
to. Yeah,
when
we bring it in. We have a camping trip booked this weekend, and it's already paid for. That's why we can't cancel it. We're going to bring it to them Monday. And every time I call them, they tell me they're going to call me back. They never call me back.
Let me give everybody some other advice. So look, if you're dealing with a dealer, and what I hear a lot of times in these cases is that, I called them and they gave me an appointment 3 months out, or and so you've got a very short warranty. This is not like an automobile. You got 3 years, 5 years, even 10 years in some car cases now. Most of these warranties are 1 year.
We took out the extended warranty.
Right, but the extended warranty is usually through a third party. That's not the original manufacturer warranty. So the key on these cases is the original factory warranty manufacturer. So if what you need to do, and everybody needs to do, is if you call and the dealer says, look, and I'm talking about major problems, and so I don't want to say you have to bring it in for every a radio issue or something like that. But in your case, you got water leaks. You need to bring that vehicle down there tomorrow and drop it off. And if they say, well, we can't get to it in 2 months, then you need to give them the keys, get your stuff out of it, and say, call me when it's ready, and leave it. You really do. And
but it's the clock is ticking, isn't it, on her warranty?
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And
it's going to be a year in September.
I'm sorry, say that again?
It's going to be a year in September.
Oh, you need to get that in the vehicle. You need to get that in the shop tomorrow.
Is it really that important? I mean,
Yes.
I think we want to believe in our dealer. That's why we do business with them. And then when they turn their back and they don't fix things that are important like this, It's very frustrating. I want to know when is a good time to call Rick Dalton or when is a good time to call a lawyer, because I got to be honest with you, Rick. I hate calling a lawyer. I don't want to do it.
Right,
Well,
and I don't want people to call me, without doing some self-help. I mean, again, the warranty is there for a purpose. I mean, it's there that if you have problems and you bring it in, and if they fix it and you don't have that problem again, then everybody's done what they said they were going to do, and that's these are houses rolling down the road on wheels, so they're going to have problems. It's your house shaking, so things are going to happen, but you cannot sit on it and not do anything and because what the worst cases for me are the people who come to me after a year and a half and now they're frustrated. Now they're tired of listening to the dealer. Now they're tired of listening to the manufacturer and said, okay, now I'm ready for a lawyer.
Oh,
don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's too late then. All right, listen, got to jump for a break. Jonette, hopefully that helps. Rick Dalton, stand by, folks. We have got great information, don't we, right here on the RV Show USA. You got a legal situation, a question about your RV, 855-296-7469.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
From California to Oregon, we are broadcasting nationwide. This is the RV Show USA. We're talking about some of the, I don't know, somebody could say the dark side of the RV industry. We all love RVing, but sometimes when you have a problem and it turns into a really big problem, it gets ugly quick, and that's what we're talking about. We've got RV attorney Rick Dalton from Louisiana on the line with us. Rick, our phone lines are full. Before we jump on the phone, I want to ask you, Matthew had posted, he asked a question, when we talk about lemon laws, is it really the Magnusson-Moss Warranty Act that you're referring to?
Yeah, that's one of the main statutes we use for campers and pretty much the RV. So that's it's not all 50 states have that. So that would be the main statute, but we use other statutes in conjunction with that. But yes, that would be the main statute.
Okay, good. Let's go on out to Barbara. She's been on hold for a long time. Barbara, welcome. You're on the phone with Rick Dalton.
Thank you. Hi, Rick.
Hello, Miss Barbara. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for
Barbara,
having me on.
we've got about 3.5 minutes to do this whole thing. So if you can kind of hit the high spots, please, we'll try and help you.
Absolutely. My husband and I bought an RV after we sold our home 2 weeks ago, and we wanted to have it inspected. There was very little time because they were dragging out the whole week. We drove off the lot with it. We get it parked, and it flooded.
Oh.
Called an RV tech. The tech said that it's probably the ice maker. Turned out it was not the ice maker, and when he came out, we ended up with finding out there was a giant crush in the roof, and the whole side on the passenger side and the top were completely like just an accident. Something fell on it, or maybe it hit a toll booth. Well,
okay.
We made them come pick it up because I had headaches, and the mold that was growing in that thing was horrible. But now they're saying they're going to fix it and give it back, but we were never told about that accident on the roof.
What does she need to do?
Find out, where do I stand?
Okay, that's a different issue. That may be, depending on where the wreck and the repair occurred, that may be a fraud issue. And so this happens, and I handle lots of cases like this. I got several today. So what ends up happening is a dealer will run a forklift into it because they run into it by moving it. They'll be taking it to a show and they'll wreck it. What happens? They bring it back to the dealer. They'll fix it. A tree will fall on the lot. They'll fix it and they'll sell it to you on it. So depending on how much damage is to the unit, if it's something a reasonable person would want to know about prior to making the sale, then they have a duty to disclose it to you. And if they don't, then that is fraud, okay, and that's misrepresentation. So that's what you have.
Okay.
Another area of the law that this applies to in dealing with lemon law too is what's called revocation of acceptance. Since you discovered it so quickly after you bought the vehicle, you can technically revoke acceptance of the sale and undo the sale, but you need to take legal action to do that. On that. So to just undo, basically say, look, you sold me a wrecked vehicle. I don't want it. Give me my money back. If they don't voluntarily do that, sadly, you need to get an attorney involved to make them do it.
All right, Barbara, hopefully that helps. We got a lot of other callers on hold. You can connect with Rick Dalton through our website. We've got right there on the front page, thervshowusa.com. You can click on over, you can connect with him, and he can probably steer you in the right direction. All right, Steve, you've been holding on for a long time. How you doing, Steve? Hello, Steve. Steve.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep, I'm here.
All right. We've only got about 2.5 minutes. Go.
Hey, Rick, thanks. Very informative tonight. The attorney already answered some of my questions.
Okay. Are you through?
Can you hear me?
Steve, you have any other questions? Sounds like you're dropping out a little bit.
I got you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. But we got to wrap it up pretty quick.
That's fine. The repetitive trips to the dealership where they tell you they fix something and you go in and it's not fixed. They blow off major issues like they're not major issues, and it's constantly back and forth to dealer, and now I'm past that 1 year mark. What do I do?
Okay, so first off, we need to look at your warranty. So what I want to, the last point I want to cover, and I can answer your question, is you need to look at your warranty. This is prevalent this is the new thing that manufacturers are doing. So everybody needs to look at that in their warranty. And I'm looking at a Forest River warranty, and it has this language in it. No action to enforce express or implied warranty shall be commenced later than 90 days after the expiration of the warranty period. This people need to know. What that basically means, according to Forest River's warranty, you have 1 year and 90 days to do something. If you don't file suit or file your arbitration, if you're bound by that within 1 year and 90 days from purchase, then they're going to come in and say you waited too long. So in your case, depending on that, then you need to read your warranty. If you do not have that language in there, then you can still pursue it under Magnusson, under your state limit laws, other statutes that are available to you. But we need to look at the warranty to determine that on it. And so that's number one. But just because this language is in there does not mean you don't have a cause of action. There are other causes of action besides breach of warranty and limit law that you can go after them for. Negligent repair is a big one, where if they brought it in a bunch of times.
Right. I just had an issue. I was camping. I had it in for service last year. I had a problem with my Blackwater pull. They said it was stiff, but it was working. Well, I go camping last weekend. I go to pull it, and the handle comes off of my hand.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a case.
They serviced it. I put it away for the winter. I mean, what are you going to do?
Hey, Steve, I've got to say goodbye to you. Thank you for listening. I'm going to try to get the answer out of Rick in the last minute. Rick, when people like Steve, like Barbara, like others, that we got a lot of people listening, have a situation, are they able to communicate with you, and at least you can kind of give them a little bit of direction? Is that possible?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's what I do. So if anybody has a question they need answered, feel free to call me. And look, I have absolutely no problem. I give my cell number out to clients, so our customers, and if they're in the middle of a sale at a dealership looking at paperwork and not sure what to sign or whatever, they can call me and I will tell them. I'll do that for free. I mean, that's where it starts, right there while you're negotiating your sale. Don't wait. What I'm getting out of this is don't wait too long to get your service work done. Take it back to the dealer immediately. Read your paperwork. Take your time, and don't be hesitant about hiring a good attorney like you, Rick Dalton. Yes, thank you. All right. Hey, thanks so much. We'll get you on again. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that. This is the first time we've ever done this on the RV Show USA, and we may do it again. I think it was extremely informative. We're not trying to lump everybody, all the RV manufacturers and dealers, into one big bad group, because there's a lot of really good ones out there, but you got to be careful when you sign it on the bottom line. One more segment to go. Y'all stick around.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
Hey everyone, I'm Miss Katie Warren, aka the Graphics Girl on the RV Show USA. Give us a like by clicking the thumbs up button down below, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye everybody.